tonight at the Virginia Department of Corrections, Red Onion State Prison. To accept this call, press 0.
This is Randall Via. I'm serving 1,214 years in Red Onion State Prison for capital murder in the state of Virginia in the USA. This is my podcast, Red Onion Randy. I hope you enjoy listening to me. Well, today I'm going to talk about something very near and dear to my heart, and that's getting the hell up off of Red Onion State Prison. I've been 15 and a half years charge-free. The last charge I've caught was at Sussex 1 when I went down there for a couple of months before getting transferred back when I slit the child molester's throat on April 28th of 2006. That's the very last charge that I've caught. Ever since then, I've done a lot of growing up. I've matured a lot. I've put a lot of work in on myself, and it's finally starting to pay off. I've completed every program up here that was made available to me. I've had a job for 8 years straight, cleaning the pods, cutting people's hair, cleaning the showers and whatnot. I've literally done everything I could do. Now, this is the thing. When I got released from D1, which was level 6, over to B2, which is a level 5, even though it's the same prison, it's just two different levels where on this side of the yard, you get more out-of-cell rec, and you get more privileges, so on and so forth. When I come over here, I got the policy on transfers, because I want to get transferred. I want to leave Red Onion. One thing in prison, always study policy. So I saw it in policy, and you got two things in prison. You got an H override, and you got an L override. Now, the H override is when even though you don't have the points for a higher level prison, but because you've done something, or because you were capable of something, or because you are like a gang leader, like really high up, like you're a general in a gang, like they can override you and send you to a more secure prison, a higher level prison. And they can basically do that for any reason they want to, and they do. They'll give a person an H override quick, fast, and in a hurry. But yet when it comes to an L override, and the L override is the reverse of that. Someone who's at a higher security prison who's behaved themselves and they've done what they're supposed to do, so on and so forth. For example, let's say someone jumped the CO right now. Let's say a female officer came in and someone jumped her and tried to beat her up and rape her. And there ain't no might. I'm going to step in if something like that happens, because I'll never let a woman get their hands, somebody rape them or put hands on them. So I just ain't built that way. I'm going to stop it. So they might give me an L override for exceptional institutional behavior. So as I was reading the policy and finding out about the transfer, I seen that I clearly, absolutely, without question, qualified for transfer off of Red Onion State Prison, based on the fact that I have been 15 and a half years charge-free, going on 16 years. I've completed the programs, Thinking for a Change, Decision Points, and several other programs, and most of them I've actually done twice. I had a job for 8 years straight. I was actually a barber in SAG for a lot of time, where I'm coming out and the guy's hair who I'm cutting, they're handcuffed behind their back and they're shackles on their feet. And like, I got shackles on my feet, but I don't have nothing on my hands. And I've got solid metal clippers that weigh a good 5 pounds. You trust me to have this weapon. You trust me to have a solid 5-pound metal barber clippers. I've done everything I can. I have shown y'all time and time again. I've earned my transfer. And I brought all of this to the counselor's attention, to the warden, the assistant warden's attention, the unit manager. I have spoken to every single person on this mountain. Hey, look, man, put me in for a transfer. Well, they kept telling me, no, we're not going to do it. I'm like, why the hell not? So you have to be at a level 5 for 1 year before we can put you in for a transfer. Well, because of when I got released, the timing, which was back in June 13th, I believe, if I remember correctly, my annual review is every January, which would have meant I wouldn't have been eligible for a transfer until January of 2023. And that didn't even guarantee I would have got the transfer. That just means I would have been eligible to be put in for a transfer, and then the people in Richmond, the headquarters, would have decided. I'm like, no, that's not what policy says, man. Policy states exceptional institutional behavior. That's what an L1 override is. There is not another single prisoner in the state of Virginia that has been charge-free longer than I have. Most people aren't even a year charge-free because it's so easy to catch small little petty-ass charges. You have a CO that gets to arguing with his wife, at breakfast time. He come into work, he's freaking pissed off, and he just starts handing charges out to people he don't even like. It happens damn near every single day. I have been 15 and a half years charge-free, people, and yet I've done it. And probably the worst prison in the world, in my opinion, anyway. And quite frankly, most other people's too. So they just kept denying me. And I would bring the paperwork out and I would show them, like, yo, look, man, this is what policy says. This is what your policy says. Well, we're just not going to do it until, you got to stay a year and this and that. And, all right, fine, man. I got tired of it. There's an organization in Washington, D.C. called Interfaith Action for Human Rights, and it's run by Rabbi Chuck Feinberg. And one of his deputies, I don't know what her exact title is. I just simply call her the badass because she's pretty freaking good at what she does, and her name is Gay Gardner. So I've met Gay when she watched the documentary Solitary Look Inside Red Onion State Prison, and she reached out to me, and we started writing back and forth and connecting, and I give her insights into prison and what's really going on and so on and so forth. And she's constantly fighting the Department of Corrections to overturn and just kick out solitary confinement, long-term solitary confinement. You still have to have SEG. Even I agree with that. You got to have some type of SEG when dude's acting an idiot. So she's constantly battling the state of Virginia. She's the one that did everything she could to try to get me treated for the tumor in my leg back in 2017, 18, and 19. And she at least got me sent to the hospital. Nothing she can do about the damn hospital refusing to treat me. But that's a whole nother podcast in and of itself. I wrote to her, and I told her, and I explained everything to her. And she was like, well, we have a meeting, her and Chuck Feinberg have a meeting with David A. Robinson, who's the second in command of the Department of Corrections here in the state of Virginia, about once every month. And so when she got the meeting in early November, she talked to him about a bunch of different things. And, she brought me up saying, hey, look, you got an inmate named Randall Via who's been 15 and a half years charge-free. He's completed all of your programs, most of them twice, had a job for 8 years. Why are they telling him he isn't eligible for a transfer? He's shown them the paperwork in your own policy that he qualifies for a transfer. He qualifies for an L1 override without having to wait till 2023. So David Robinson gets on the computer and he looks it up in the Department of Corrections system where he's got, all that information and every prison is connected and so on and so forth. And he's like, well, you know what? You're absolutely right. Mr. Via is right. He's been charge-free for this amount of time. He's done all these programs. He's had a job. She told me that he said that, don't you think he's doing really well in the environment he's in? Maybe he should stay there? And she pointed out, then what's the point of him behaving himself if he can't progress? Where's the incentive? But he was like, you know what? You make an excellent point, Miss Gardner. So, where does he want to get transferred to? And she's like, well, he told me King Mountain. That afternoon, the sergeant called me. I was actually on the phone talking to my producer, Michael. And we was just, chatting and everything. And I was like, hey, look, man, hold up. I got to go. I'll call you back later on. Sergeant wants to see me in the office. I thought it was about cleaning the showers or something to do with my job or something like that. I didn't really have a clue what I was getting called out there for. So when I walked out to his office, He was like, hey, man, Warden Rick White just called over here and asked me where you wanted to get transferred to, Keene Mountain. And he was like, all right, you're going back in the pod now. So I come back in the pod. And normally I'm not a loud dude. I'm not a disrespectful dude, but I got loud and I got a little disrespectful to the guys that were on the phone talking to their families and girls at the time. And I came back in the pod and I was like, woo! I just screamed at the top of my lungs. Dudes were looking at me like I was crazy, and I was like, look, man, I'm finally getting freaking transferred, and I'm getting transferred to the prison I want to go. Now, the reason I want to go to Keene Mountain is an older style prison. It's not one of these modern prisons where everything is enclosed and it's like the old school prisons that you see in the movies from the 80s and the early 90s and everything. And it's got a humongous rec yard. As a matter of fact, it actually has 3 rec yards. Huge rec yards. You got a softball field there. You got several basketball courts. You got a horseshoe pitch, you got volleyball, you got a handball court, and you got free weights. You got just weight pile, like one of the best weight piles in the system. Matter of fact, I think it's the second best weight pile behind Augusta. But I can't go to Augusta because Augusta's a level 3/4, and I can't go there. So I can only go to a straight level 4 from here, which is Keene Mountain, River North, and Sussex 1 and Sussex 2, and I'll die before I go back to Sussex 1 or Sussex 2. Man, screw that. I'm never going back to that damn place. At least I pray to God I'm not. But my first choice is Keene Mountain. Like, they got a bunch of programs. They got, the electricity class there, vocational. They got, teach you how to do sheetrock. They teach you masonry and a bunch of other things. And even though I already know how to do electricity, masonry, and sheetrock, I don't have a degree in it. So I can go up there and apply for the class and get in it. And, quite frankly, because I already know how to do it, it wouldn't take me long at all, maybe a month or two to get my certificate in there, because all I got to do is just simply show them I know what I'm doing. And I want free weight. I have been working out I have probably done hundreds of thousands, if not over 1 million push-ups in my damn life, and I'm barely 162 pounds. Like, I'm freaking small because I don't have one of the body types that puts muscle on easily. I'm what, in the bodybuilding world you would call a hard gainer. So I really need heavy weights to be able to get the size that I want. I'm not trying to become some freaking Arnold Schwarzenegger superhero type, but I'm trying to get right around where Conor McGregor, his physique is. Like, I want that physique. That right there works for me. There's just so many opportunities there. The food is better there. There's just so much more freedom. You get pod rec basically from like 6 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock at night. You may have to lock down at 12 o'clock for like 45 minutes, and then again at 6 o'clock for like 45 minutes. So the COs can do a security count to make sure nobody's dead, nobody's escaped and whatnot. Everybody's where they're supposed to be. And once that clears, they pop you right back out. Get outside rec. It's just so much stuff there at Keene Mountain that I can do. I believe they have a music room. I don't know. They may have stopped that. I don't know. But I know back in the day, they had guitars and drums and, some different type of musical equipment. You can go over to the library. They got computers.
You have 1 minute remaining.
So, yeah, I don't know when I'm going to get transferred. I just simply know that soon I will be getting transferred, and my God, I'm looking forward to it. This has been Red Onion Randy. I hope you enjoy listening to me. For those of you who listen to me on Apple Podcasts, I would truly appreciate it if you would review me and rate me, preferably 5 stars, but I'll take whatever you think I'm worth. Don't forget to check out my website, redonionrandy.com. Take care. Stay safe.
Thank you for using GTL.